Hello, namaste. It's lovely to connect with you today. My name is Leanne Peters. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, Temple of Balance on YouTube, and Temple of Balance on Patreon. And I'm here to create or share in the second of, well, the last of two healing events for October 2018. So I've got my smudge stick going. If you see smoke coming up every now and then, I'm getting ready to smudge. So welcome. Today I'll be connecting with 23 people. Usually I would host an event like this in 2 or 3 separate live video streams on Facebook, but the streaming on Facebook has been extremely unreliable this month, so I felt this was more reliable. So I'm doing a big long one. It will be over 2 hours, no doubt, this video. So what I'm doing is connecting with all the people that you can see in the comments. If that's you, you will see a list of names and there will be a link with a time, a little timestamp, and you should be able to click or tap on that timestamp and it will skip ahead and take you straight to that person's particular healing, well, yours, hopefully. So look down for your name and you should find that. I recommend that you listen to the first part first until I make the first connection and then skip ahead if you wish. Or you're very welcome to follow the journey through, because I'm sure it will be no accident if you're inspired to do that. So often guidance that's shared for other people is relevant for others as well. So don't underestimate that if you're inspired to do so. So let's start with the smudge. So I'll be connecting with each person. I'll be spending a few minutes with each of you. I'm going to be pulling a healing energy card as I connect. So one of these. I'll pull one of those for each person I'm connecting with, and then I'll tune in. So I'm very sensitive to energy, and I tune in by thinking of you. And it's kind of hard to explain, but and it works for me, but I kind of imagine that I'm you, because I know my energy really well, that I know what's not mine as I'm tuning into other people, and I can feel what's going on in your body. I might receive visions or messages as I tune in. But I trust 100% that whatever comes through will be what's required. So whatever's loudest in your vibration, it's going to get my attention first because it's loudest. And we've only got a pretty short amount of time to spend connecting. So I trust that whatever does come through is important for you. Let's smudge now. This smudge stick feels ready to go. So smudging, this is to help prepare now for this healing journey or your healing time. So take a nice deep breath and imagine this sacred smoke washing over your body and carrying away with it all negative energies, entities, cords, hooks, attacks, and attachments. Allow yourself to let those things go as you breathe them out and away, allowing the smoke to carry that stuff away from your body, your heart, your mind, your life. So 3 nice big breaths as you let go, or release if you prefer that word. Thank you. And so it is. So after I've pulled a card and I've connected with you and I share whatever's coming up that I'm sensing, that I'm picking up, and do what we need to do, then I'll pull an Animal Kingdom Oracle card to finish up, to sort of tie up your connection. So that's my new deck, which literally right now in this moment I'm the only person that has a deck of these, and they were launched yesterday. So I'll be pulling an animal card to go or to finish up your connection. You might feel healing energy stirring for you as I connect with you. You might feel waves of emotion. You might be able to relate to something that I'm saying, or it might be a confirmation of something that you've been experiencing or thinking. So anything like that, just trust it. If you're confronted by anything that comes up, then Try not to resist that, but explore why you feel confronted, why you feel resistant. Often it's, I find anyway, when I'm confronted, often it's so I can get stronger in the knowing of my own truth. So work with that confrontational energy if you need to. I'm not going to hold back. If I sense it, I'm going to say it, because I actually can't progress with your connection if I've got something there that I don't want to say because it might be confronting. I'm not going to be able to get past that. So I need to say and express what I'm sensing and feeling or seeing to actually get the energy moving so we can go deeper. I have no plans. I'm just going to flow with it. So I trust in my ability to connect with you, and I trust in what I feel I need to say. And then it will be up to you to work with that in your own way. So I trust that makes sense. I'm going to make connections now. So if you want to skip ahead to your own, please do. I trust you enjoy your time, our time that we spend together, your connection, and I trust it supports you at this time. Next month, which is November, of course, next month in November I'll be hosting 2 healing ceremonies that everyone can participate in. That's everyone who's signed up or registered on my Patreon healing list. So all of you, if you want to continue, we'll be doing 2 healing ceremonies. What they're going to be, I actually have no idea yet. I haven't really thought about it. I've been really busy launching my new deck, so I'll give that some thought next week when we hit the new month and see what inspires me with that, and I'll let you know when the emails come out. So there'll be a healing ceremony earlier in the month and then a healing ceremony at the end of the month that everyone can participate in both times. So I'll share more about that later, but just have a look on my Patreon page, the links below, if you want to participate or if you want to continue your support. You can just let it continue. So thank you. Okay, the first person I'm connecting with right now is the beautiful Tina Mirco. So Tina, you're first. Take a nice deep breath, please, and we will see what comes up for you. So I'm going to show the card that comes up. I'll talk about it if I need to, but I don't want to spend all the time talking about it unless I have to. I'd prefer to connect with you and see what's going on energetically. So this is self-searching. It's really reminding you to look inside yourself for answers. Be careful you're not questing or seeking or searching in a desperate way for guidance or answers or help or something that you're looking for outside yourself. Purpose is another thing that a lot of people tend to quest for. You can find all that you're looking for inside, is what this card's saying. So nice deep breath as I tune into you. And the first thing I'm noticing is that your energy feels out of balance, and I'm feeling the right side very pulled down and the right side down, and the left side kind of pulling up, a bit like you're in a seesaw right now. So there's a balance issue that's going on. I feel this whole right side drop down, and almost like your muscles are pulling everything down. Your shoulders, your hip, your leg, it all feels twisted down on the right side. So there's a balance issue that's going on, and you might have found lately, or in the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months, if this has been going on for a while, you may have found yourself very difficult to stay present in the present moment. You might have found that you're constantly thinking about the past or thinking about the future, and it's very difficult to kind of bring yourself into alignment with now. You might find yourself also feeling quite insecure, and there might be sort of relationship communication issues going on, as well as these left and right sides are very much out of balance. So there's a pulling down feeling here on the right side. The right side is your masculine side, and it's about your future. So it's usually the part that I feel that pulls us forward, but yours is pulling you down. So I don't know if there's something that you're feeling burdened by about your potential future, or your assumptions of what might happen in the future that's kind of burdening you and weighing you down, because it's very much a pulling down rather than pulling forward feeling. So your energy feels a bit unstable right now. Your left side's lifting up, your left side is your feminine side, your past self. So when they're in alignment, when they're in balance, they're together, they're in the now, or usually sometimes they're out of balance, like what I'm feeling now. So let's bring them back into balance and help you feel and become more stable within yourself. So what I'm feeling is this right shoulder actually lifting up. And as the right shoulder lifts up, the left shoulder pulls down and they find their balance. And the same with your hips. So your right hip moves up and your left hip moves down, and they lock into place, into their balance. So your whole spine and your whole torso feels like it's kind of twisting or adjusting back, notching back. Nice big breath, and bring some breath and some energy all the way through and around your spine. Up the front, down the back, through your spine. And just locking things into place. So there's a rebalancing that's happening here and a realigning. Finding your balance, your harmony. Okay, so let's grab an animal card. I trust that makes sense for you, Tina. Let's grab an animal card to support this connection. So we'll go with this here. And we've got the condor. The condor, I'm really noticing the black and the white of this. So the yin-yang, the left, the right, the masculine, the feminine, the balance of the condor feels quite important. Highlighting again this balance. It says here to expand your horizons is Condor's message. Condor wants you to soar and seek new landscapes and pastures and experiences, but not seeking too much in desperation. It's about anchoring yourself in the moment and letting yourself dream or letting yourself expand and grow. So just be careful not to search too much outside yourself, but keep yourself in alignment with who you are. I trust that makes sense, Tina. Thanks so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, next is Ann Osias. Lovely to connect with you, and I trust I pronounced your name okay. Osias? Osias? I trust it is. You'll let me know if it's not, but it's lovely to connect with you. So welcome, Ann. I think this is our first connection like this, so very excited to connect with you, and welcome to my family. So take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you. So we've got, this is card 27 called Freedom, and this is especially about freeing up your mind. So really keeping your mind thoughts in check and returning your power. So sometimes, in fact, most of the time, when our mind is very active with thoughts and worry and stress, it needs energy to keep feeding itself. So it pulls energy up from our body to keep feeding these thoughts. And then energetically in our aura, we become very top heavy, very heavy through the head, but kind of drained in the body because our mind is sucking all that energy up in to feed it. So this card is about recognizing the activity in the mind and bringing your power, the life force, back down into your body, but especially into your solar plexus chakra. So returning your power, your life force into your body. So let's tune in, Ann, and see what's loudest in your vibration today. So nice deep breath. Okay, the thing that I'm seeing at the moment is a path that looks almost like steps, but not quite. So I'll say an uphill path going to a lighthouse, and the lighthouse feels short, but it's radiating two beams of light, one to the left, one to the right. So I feel you walking up this slight incline up to the lighthouse, and I feel like this lighthouse represents your personal power and your ability to foresee, using your third eye chakra, your ability to foresee your future. I feel like you're very interested in psychic things, so your ability to develop your psychic senses. And I think most importantly, your ability to trust in your intuition is what this lighthouse represents. So it's you stepping into almost, I want to say, your spiritual power, your psychic power, or we could say your intuitive power, which is directly coming from your third eye chakra. So I see you stepping up this little hill and up and into this lighthouse. And the lighthouse feels your height, but wider and very solid. So there's something very solid about this power that you're stepping into. And I feel like your intuition, you trusting it and developing it in the way that you're inspired to, I feel like this is going to help you feel more comfortable, content, but confident within yourself. That's where this power is. It's coming and it's bringing confidence, it's bringing courage, it's bringing inner strength. And this is not just about the spiritual interests that you have in your life, because I feel like this can influence and enhance in a great way every aspect of your life. So by you trusting your intuition is not just about the spiritual activities you do, it's about your everyday life and bringing your ability and your growing ability to trust in your intuition into every everyday situation that you're involved with, and seeing how you can welcome and expand that energy into everything, because it's going to help you improve who you are. It's going to help improve your relationships and improve your relationships with your life. So you're stepping into your power, but I see you journeying there slightly uphill. So you might have a bit of doubt, you might have a little bit of uncertainty about, you might question your intuition, for example. You might seek validation or confirmation. But instead of seeking validation or confirmation or overthinking something, see if you can just take a deep breath and take a step towards that lighthouse, and you standing and glowing in the radiance of your third eye chakra. Your intuition is really, really strong. So now it's about trusting it and bringing it into your everyday life. I trust that makes sense, Marianne. Let's grab an animal card to support this. And we'll go with this card here. It's the honeybee. The honeybee card 32, and it says a short break. I feel like if you can let your worries, your doubts in yourself, so your self-doubt, your lack of self-confidence, especially in your intuition or trusting it, if you can let that go as you're walking up this hill, if you can kind of drop that baggage like backpacks or bags that you may kind of imagine that you're wearing, kind of drop that on your walking to the lighthouse. And imagine yourself beelining there, because I see you beelining, but I feel that you need to drop some energetic weight, your own doubt first. Otherwise, you might take a long time to get to the lighthouse, or you might divert, delay the journey. You can beeline there, is what I feel with this card. So take the direct route, but you'll need to drop your baggage, your energetic weight first, which is mainly your own doubt and your own lack of self-trust. So trust in yourself. You're a powerful, powerful person, and you have very strong intuition. So now it's about working and harnessing that energy as best as you can in your everyday life. So I trust that makes sense, Marianne. Thank you. It's lovely to connect with you, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's have a drink. And now I'm connecting with Sandi Greenham. Sandi, that's you. Take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you. Here. Oh, we have the same card that I just pulled for Marianne. So there might be something in Marianne's guidance that would be relevant to you. And Marianne, if you're still watching, there's probably something in Sandi's guidance that's helpful for you. So there seems to be a bit of an overlap here, a connection of some sort. So freedom in the mind, returning your personal power back into your body instead of letting it feed your thoughts, your doubt, your worry. So Sandi, take a nice deep breath and we'll see what's coming up for you. I see this pocket on the side of a wall that looks a bit like a beehive. It's kind of a beehive shape, but it's like a pocket that I want to reach my hand into. So it doesn't feel like it's active with bees or honeycomb or a beehive, but it's just that shape and that sort of size. And it seems to be attached to the side of a wall. The wall, I'm looking at the wall in a cross section, so it's like we can walk down that side of the wall, or we can walk down the side that's got this kind of beehive pocket. So what the heck this means, I have no idea right now. So let's just tune in and ask and find out. I feel that right now in your path that you're kind of split somehow. Like, should I go down this track or this track? And there's a wall that seems to be dividing. So there's a feeling here that you have to choose this or that they can't work together somehow. That you've got to make a choice between this person or that person, or this situation, that situation, this workplace, that workplace. So there's something here that they will not work together. That there is a wall between them and you have to choose this or that. Now, with that in mind, I'm very curious as to why one of these has this kind of beehive pocket. What the heck does that mean? It reminds me a bit of a medicine pouch. A medicine pouch, it would be where the natives would have a pouch of some sort, usually out of a part of an animal that, you know, they resource and they use all parts of the animal. And in that pouch they'd have their herbs or their crystals or their tools or the things that they would gather in their little pouch, medicine pouch. And I sort of feel like this is a bit like that, a medicine pouch where the things that you need are stored within this medicine pouch. Now, because it appears to me to look a bit like a beehive, even though it clearly isn't, there's probably a bee connection here too. So it might be worth looking up bee power animal for you, Sandi, because bees are quite fascinating and there might be something important about the medicine and the message from bee to help you know which direction to take. Because I feel that the path along the wall that has this pouch is the path for you to take. So even though everything looks similar about both of them, one of them has this pouch. So I'd be looking into bee, studying it a little bit, at its productivity, the way it colonizes, the way it works together as a society or a community. There's something in that that's important for you to know in regards to which path to take. So you do have a choice, and I see you looking straight down that wall, so you're probably right at that point right now. Just let your worry about what to do and what's best to do go. I'd be searching up the bee, because I feel like there's something really important in that that's going to give you some insight. So, let's grab an animal card to support this, Sandi. And we'll see what it is. It's this. It's the stag, and this just confirms everything that I've just been talking about. It says new direction. So stag is about new direction. He wants you to get your antennas out, your antlers, and feel for the best path to take. Stag is taking you down a new path, a new direction. So now as you stand almost at this crossroads, you're really being encouraged to trust your instincts, trust the resources and which path is the most resourceful. That may also be a bit of a clue there, but it's something that you have to make that decision on your own. But you have a lot of support and you are being led in a new direction. Trust in the direction that you're going. So that's stag. I trust that makes sense, Sandi. Thanks so much for your support, and it's lovely connecting with you. Namaste. Okay, next I'm connecting with Loretta Martin. So Loretta, welcome. Let's see what comes up for you today. So take a nice deep breath. And we'll go with this. Here, it's the Spiral of Grace, card 24. And this talks about lifting up past your fear, your separation issues, the things that have been repeating themselves in your life, which we could call the patterns, maybe negative sort of patterns that have been kind of going around and around in your life, and you keep finding yourself in the same kind of situation over and over again. It's time to lift up above that now and to break these patterns. Let's have a deeper look into your energy here, Loretta. Let's take a nice deep breath, please. You feel, I trust this doesn't sound too morbid, but this is how I'm seeing and feeling it. At the moment, to me, you feel like the Hanged Man. So I'm seeing the Hanged Man, the game where you put the words, someone picks the letters of a word that you've picked, and then you make a man on, hanging. That's what I'm seeing here, but not the words. I'm seeing the picture of the Hanged Man. I see you probably feel a bit like you're being strung out at the moment, strung out and left. I sort of feel you being strung out and kind of left to kind of rot in some weird way. And I see like vultures and ravens and crows and animals coming in, like waiting for you to decay so they can eat you. It's really weird, but that's what I'm feeling, so that's what I'm sharing with you. So let's look at this. I feel like there's something that's going on maybe in your life right now that, and it might be quite private, that you're experiencing, that is kind of eating you up and chipping away your life force. We can look at this from another angle and say it's dimming your light. If you were a campfire, you're just smouldering. So there's a feeling here that there's not a lot of life force. There's not a lot of, maybe you're not feeling a lot of support. Maybe you're feeling down at this time. But I feel like you can turn things around. I'm really being drawn to the words on this card. And this may be a great card for you to work with if you have the deck, Loretta, but that say transform fear into love. It's time to turn this situation around. And I feel like you've tried lots of different things, but it's like almost like you're tied down to something, or you're tied or being held back somehow. And it's probably you holding yourself back. There may be some things, like sometimes finances can hold us back, or we might be waiting for something, or we might not be in a position to change work or change home or change relationships. So we might be kind of bound by that. But I have this feeling that there's also something that you're probably holding yourself back with as well. So even though you've been trying to free yourself from swinging on the gallows, or swinging yourself as the Hanged Man, I feel like if we can untie this rope, untie the things that are binding you and holding you back, tying you down energetically, that will help you feel a bit more hopeful about improvement. So take a nice deep breath. I see this rope around your neck, and I can feel it gagging you here. So there's a suppression feeling here in your throat. You might feel like there's communication issues at this time across the board in different things. When that happens, it means you're not communicating properly with yourself. So I recommend that you really listen to how you feel, and you really talk to yourself. Encourage yourself, support yourself, be there for you. Be there for you and help ungag the suppression that's around your throat, because your soul is calling you forward. There's truth for you to discover. You need to just untie yourself so that you can give yourself room to breathe, room to move. So I release this rope from around your neck. You're laying on the ground, and I just loosen this rope and remove it. And gently stroke you with energy vibrant pink. It's like magenta pink. Bright, bright energy just flowing. It feels to be coming out of my hands and just flowing over your body from head to toe, across your back and across your body. And it seems to be kind of bringing just a little bit of light back. It's a bit like the smouldering campfire. It's like the smoulders, the cinders, I think they're called. That might be something different. Start to spark again, like the fire's about to catch a light again. So there's some hope I feel here. And then more of the fire starts glowing and burning and increasing as you feel just a little bit stronger, a little bit more hopeful, and a little bit more supportive of yourself. Don't be so hard on you. And I see you get up from that laying down position and sit up now. So you're starting to already feel a little bit stronger in the heart. But you're really being encouraged to take some action now to move yourself forward and lift up out of the things that have happened, the cycles, the patterns, and up into the spiral of grace. Imagine yourself growing and expanding out of the issues and the pain that you found yourself in. Let's grab an animal card to go with this and support this for you, Loretta. Okay, we'll go with this. Okay, it's the Masked Owl card 49. It says be optimistic. I mean, how more perfect could this card be? Bringing that hope and that optimism in. Looking at perhaps what is working a little bit more. What is there for you? What you do have. And really noticing your strengths rather than focusing on what's not working. It's a bit like focusing on the glass half full rather than the glass half empty. So be optimistic. Things may be on course in a better way than you think right now. What if they are? Enjoy, and I trust that makes sense for you, Loretta. It's lovely connecting with you and sending you lots of love. Thank you, and namaste. Okay, the next person I'm connecting with is Avril Daly. I'd really trust I pronounce your name. I keep wanting to say Avril Daly, but I don't think it's Daly. Avril Daly. So lovely to connect with you, Avril. Let's see what comes up for you. So take a nice deep breath and we'll go with this card here. Heaven on Earth. Combining of the masculine and feminine. Grounding. Oneness. Sacred relationships. The manifestation of ideas into reality. So there's a feeling here of bringing something of high vibration down into the earth vibration, into physical manifestation, if you like. Let's tune in, Avril, and see what is loudest in your vibration. Nice deep breath. I see you traveling through a tunnel that's triangular in shape, and it seems to be rotating this triangle as you're journeying through this tunnel. It's light and it's bright. It's not huge, but there's certainly lots of room for you to kind of travel through. You're not walking, you're just kind of being pulled through somehow. And you're being pulled forward. I feel like you're being pulled forward into something that's really essential for your purpose. And I want to say your mission here during this lifetime. I feel, as far as purpose and mission go, I feel our purpose is something that we can find each day. So finding a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging on a day-to-day basis, rather than some big long goal that we might think that we're seeking. As far as our mission goes, I feel like our mission is predetermined before we even set foot on this planet. And probably many, many lifetimes ago when we first agreed to come to this earth experience and fulfill this mission, if you like. Our mission might take many, many lifetimes. And I feel like there's something about this journey forward that you're almost being pulled into. It's a force that's louder than, you know, like sometimes there's things that we just know we have to do, and the pull for it is stronger than anything we can explain, and we just know we have to go there. We know we have to do this or do that. we have this almost a calling to do it. It's so strong, and that's what I'm feeling here. So I'm just curious as to what this tunnel is and where is it taking you. So I feel like you're on a journey somewhere. You're on a journey to something. And as much as I don't particularly like spending too much time thinking about or talking about with others, focusing on the destination or where people are going, because the journey itself is very important and is often overlooked because we just want the thing to happen, or we want that manifestation or that event to be. But I feel like you're being pulled to this thing, and as you're being pulled here and you're still being pulled, so it's still the journey to something, you're going to something. As I connect in with what that something is, it feels to me like what I'm feeling and seeing in my mind's eye is this huge, the first word that comes to mind is cathedral, but it doesn't feel religious, but it feels like this big cathedral sort of building or temple of some sort. So there's something strong structurally that's going on here. You might even been led to some building or some manifestation of some type of magnificent building. Or this could be representing something in your life that feels almost like a castle, actually. It feels like a castle that you're being drawn to. So the castle to me represents something really quite beautiful and really important for what you're here to do in your life. So there's something that you're being pulled towards that's stronger than anything you can justify. So trust in your journey. It feels like you don't really have to make many steps because you're just being pulled there. So trust in what's pulling at your heart. Let's grab an animal card to support that, Avril. And we'll go with this card here. It's the Macaw, card 12. It says bold and daring communication. And I feel really drawn to the boldness and the brightness of the Macaw's colours and feathers. So there's something probably that's in this, I feel, that's pulling you towards this kind of castle that feels very bright and colourful. It is kind of out of this world, so it's a bit sort of hard to describe in physical terms. But there's this sense here that there's a lot of colour and vibrancy to the energy here. Even though the tunnel that you're travelling through feels very light, almost white, but it's more like just light. The castle that you're going towards feels very bright. So there's something very vibrant about where you're going, something very passionate, very motivating about your journey there. So I can't talk a lot about the destination because you're still on the journey. So what I would say is just keep letting your heart pull you forward because it's guiding you. And it's so strong that you probably feel like it's effortless in many ways. And it will be effortless because when you are where you need to be and you have that pull, it is effortless. Just all you need to do is get into the flow. It's a bit like being in the ocean and getting into the current, you know, the underwater currents that the turtles travel on, the sea turtles. So once they hit that current, they just have to kind of lay back and just let the current take them. And that's sort of the same feeling of pull here. So trust it, Avril, and enjoy your journey. Thank you. I trust that makes sense. Namaste. Okay, next on my list is the lovely Angie Griswold. So Angie, it's your turn and time now. So take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you and what we need to talk about. Oh, we have white light. This talks about purification, cleansing, especially through the spine, so flushing out your system. This also talks about your loved ones in spirit, coming in close and supporting you at this time if you need it. So let's tune in and see what's happening here. I see two mountain peaks in front of you. They don't feel that far away, although they kind of look small, like they're in the distance. But I get this sense that they're not that far away. So you're moving towards a twin mountainous peak. But instead of walking over or journeying over the peak, you're going to go through the saddle of these two mountains. I just got this feeling. So even though it's off in the distance, it feels closer than it appears. And you're not going to take the hard path. So remember, take the efficient path. Especially if you're going uphill a little bit in some area of your life. If you've reached a bit of a uphill kind of climb, things aren't easy at the minute for this. Still take the easy path. Walk through the saddle rather than going over the highest peak and the steepest part of what's in front of you. So you might have a bit of an obstacle or a bit of a challenge before you, and I feel like you would know because you've already started the incline. Take the efficient path. Trust in your heart to guide you forward, and know that you have the support with you to take the journey that you need to. I see you cutting the landscape and the bushes as you step forward. It's like you're carving your own path here. You're walking a path and you're going through something you've never been through before. Not that you can remember anyway. So you have the tools to slash the bush and carve out your own path. Make it the efficient path. Don't overcomplicate things and try not to dwell too much on the details, but just keep feeling for the most efficient way over this obstacle, the most efficient way through this challenge, rather than drawing it out and taking the big, long, steep path. Let's grab an animal card to support this, Angie. We'll see what that wants to add. You have the resources you need. Don't worry. This is not something to worry about. We go through ups and downs. We go through challenges. We go through peaks and troughs in our life. So it just feels like something's a bit sluggish right now. Just keep journeying forward and keep trusting. Stay aware, I feel, and just keep taking the most efficient path at the time. This is the turtle. The turtle says slow and steady, and I feel this is perfect because I do feel you going slow and steady, slashing, journeying, feeling for the most efficient step to take, and then turning that way, slash, cut, feel. Okay, and just keep feeling. You might not be able to see the saddle. You might not be able to see the efficient path to take if you're an eagle looking down at the landscape, because you're right in amongst it. You can carve out and find the most efficient way through this challenging time, through this obstacle. Trust and believe in yourself and just go slow and steady, feeling as you go. Know that you're safe and protected and you have all the resources you need. So quite exciting, actually. I feel like this is going to be a really great turning point and influence in your life for years to come, Angie. So trust that makes sense. Thanks so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's take a drink. I trust you're feeling good if you're connecting right now. Okay, Julie Filtness. Julie, it's your time now. Take a nice deep breath. I'll probably end up going a bit delirious by the time I get down the list like I did last time. Last time when I think I connected with 20 people over 2 hours, and then I did a video stream for some guidance, and people were telling me that they thought I was drunk, and I don't actually even drink. So I think I was just kind of drunk on talking and connecting for hours. So yeah. Now I'm connecting with you, Julie. So big breath, and here's your card. It's rebirth. So this talks about change, transformation, and a rebirthing, a shedding of your old skin so that your new renewed skin can shine through from underneath. So as I connect with you, I can actually feel this new skin, this new energetic skin that's vibrant and glowing. It's like a light shining from inside, and and all the little rays are peeking out through underneath. So it's like you've got this new skin under the old skin, and it's glowing from underneath, sending these rays of light out in between the old skin that's still on top. Don't be afraid to strip yourself back and strip back parts of your life, and especially your old skin. Who you used to be, how things used to be, how things used to work, who other people used to be. Just be careful you're not coating yourself with all this old stuff, wanting things to be how they used to be. Let the old skin go and let the new you start shining from underneath. So there's a great feeling here of transformation. You feel like a bit like the butterfly coming out of the cocoon, or the skin, new skin sort of pushing through and getting this old skin off. But I feel like you need to cooperate with this now. Some of the old skin's already come off, but I feel like the rest now needs to be part of your doing and your willingness to shed your own skin and let yourself step into the new self that you're birthing into, that you're growing into. So let yourself shine from inside, because that's where your power is. Let's grab an animal card to support this, Julie. We'll see what it says. And we'll go with this here. It's a featured timing card. It's seasonal cycle. He says take the third card from the deck. So we're going to honour that. It's the bear. So this talking about 3 months, and the bear's talking about moving out of a rut. This is saying that over the next 3 months, so between now and later in January, you're being encouraged to really take steps now to move out of the rut that you've been in. So the rut that you've been in, that's probably holding you back, holding you in your darkness, your smallness, and fixed and unchangeable. Let yourself come out of hiding. Let yourself shine your beautiful new skin that's wanting to emerge. But this will take a little bit of time, but don't get caught up in that either. But over the next 3 months, just make the effort to come out of hiding, come out of the rut that you've been in, and shine your beautiful light, your beautiful new skin. So thanks, Julie. I trust that resonates. Sending you lots of love and namaste. Thank you. Okay, Pamela Florea. Pamela, you're next. Take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you. Okay, we have this. It's Reunion, card 31. And this is very much talking about the masculine energy merging with the feminine energy. So this is really highlighting the male qualities, which sometimes we tend to overlook because we're so focused on our feminine, the feminine beauty, rising in our feminine power. Seems to be the trend in these last years, the last few years. And we then are neglecting the masculine part, which is really super important because they're a balance. So there's a yin-yang coming through. Be careful your yin, the feminine, hasn't become too overpowering, which then knocks you out of balance. And then the poor little small, feeling small yang, masculine side of you, then feels insecure probably and is trying to get your attention. So it becomes loud in its insecure energies, which then threatens your feminine, and then there's an imbalance that occurs. So this is very much talking about the masculine, the yang energy that wants to come forward now. You're being encouraged to step into your assertive power and embrace your power. Can you be a powerful goddess? Powerful being the masculine energy, the goddess being the soft feminine energy. Can you let yourself be strong and feminine? Can you let yourself be feminine and strong? Remembering too, there's a lot of strength in being vulnerable. So strong might be worth looking at what that means. How would you define strong or strength or power or masculine? Yang. How would you describe that? How would it feel? If you feel it's destructive and controlling and dominating, angry, then there might be also an imbalance there with your perspective. So what about the great qualities of the masculine? The inner strength. The strength of letting yourself be honest and vulnerable and raw and fragile. Can you work with that yang, masculine energy a little bit more to push yourself forward in your life? I see a pod. I see you in a pod, like a seed in a pod. And you're being housed in this pod. It feels large, flattish, and this little seed inside, that's you. And this pod is important. The seed is your feminine. It's growing, it's fertile, it's patient. It's just holding space within the masculine pod. So the yang energy right now as I connect with you feels like the pod itself. That support, the holding space, the being there for you, the encouragement. When the seed becomes a little bit impatient or eager to birth, eager to grow, the pod supports it. It's not quite time yet. So how can you balance your inner relationship like the pod supporting the seed? I'm going to leave that with you, Pamela. Let's grab an animal card to see what that wants to add here. So this basically is all about balance. You know, the yin and the yang, the balance between the masculine and the feminine within us. And it will also reflect out into your life, especially if it's very imbalanced. You might notice relationship issues, issues with men, issues with women, you know, one over the other. You might notice issues left side or right side of your body. They will all indicate and point to an imbalance too. So think about how you can bring more of a balance in, especially in the masculine side. You've got the peacock here. It says increasing self-confidence. Self-confidence we can also look at on the masculine side, because self-confidence is a strength. It is personal power. It is clarity. So that's all growing in the masculine energy. So be the peacock. I mean, the peacock is masculine. It's the male of the peacock. Shine your beauty from that yang perspective, or in a balanced way with the yin, instead of being too much favouring one over the other. So that's your guidance, Pamela. I trust it makes sense, and thanks so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, next I'm connecting with Elle Du Bois. Elle, take a nice deep breath. It's lovely to connect with you. Let's see what comes up for you today. Okay, we have this. It's card 5 called Self-Acceptance. This is very much about accepting who you are, especially your body, and especially also accepting how you feel, your emotions. So this is very much about your belly, below your navel, where you store your emotions. And if you're a bit self-conscious about your physical belly, then this is also part of the message of this card. So accepting who you are, how you feel, accepting your body. But also realizing, you know, I feel like there's sometimes a fine line between accepting something or what would you say? I guess not accepting something. You know, sometimes we can, you know, like for me, just thinking about the best way to talk about this. For me, if I'm feeling podgy, I tend to be around the same weight. Physical weight, I'm very consistent. But if I'm feeling a bit bloated and a bit frumpy, just doesn't matter what the scales say. I threw the scales out a long time ago because I can be feeling great and the scales will say I'm heavier. And then I can be feeling frumpy and the scales say I'm lighter. So I feel it's very much a perspective thing as far as our physical weight goes. So I've thrown the scales out. But if I'm feeling on the frumpy side and I've been eating a lot of junk and feeling a bit bloated, or it's that time of the month and I'm a little bit bloated, you know, I could accept I could accept that and just keep those bad habits going. But I think sometimes I feel we need to recognize that we're going down perhaps a bad habit or a habit that's not supportive for us. And I feel sometimes accepting that is not taking responsibility for the power that we have to rein things back. So if I've gotten into a bad habit of eating a lot of sweets because I just really craved it, and then you just, you know, once you crave some sugar, your body just keeps craving sugar. So if I feel like I'm getting into a bad habit again of eating a little bit too much sugar, in my opinion, then I'll then take some steps to look at that, take responsibility for it, back off my sugar, get back into a space where I feel better. I feel better in myself. My physical body doesn't feel so bloated or so desperate for sugar or desperate for this and out of balance, and then accept that state. So I feel like there's a fine line, what I'm saying, between accepting something, especially when we're looking at our physical weight, for example, and taking responsibility for something that's going down a bad habit route or route. So if you're going down a path that's a bad habit, and you kind of know it is, it might be time to recognize it, pull the reins back, take responsibility for that path that you're going down, and get back on track. And back on track with where and what you need to focus on. So I feel this sense of breaking habits for you. A habit that you've gotten into with your thinking, with your eating perhaps, what you're consuming, and bringing it back, taking responsibility, and get your power back into your body and stop giving it away to this habit that you've gotten into. It might be something like overreacting or aggression or lack of tolerance right now. These can be habits that we get into. So a habit that you've gotten into maybe is starting to get a bit out of control. Recognize it, pull the reins back, take responsibility, and restore your personal power so you can find acceptance with who you are. If we're doing all these habit things and negative things, in our opinion, on the side, we might not feel that good about ourselves. But if we recognize these things, take our power back, be responsible for our role in where we're investing our energy and our attention, and stand in our power, then we can accept who we are much easier, because we're being true to ourselves. So that's what I'm feeling with your energy, Elle. Let's just grab an animal card and see what that wants to add here. Trust that makes sense. Oops. Oops. I'm oopsing a lot. Okay, we'll go with this card for you. It's the Earth Dragon. Now listen to this. It says physical reformation. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's habits that you've gotten into with your physical body. Maybe with your eating, your consuming, or things that you're putting into your body. Or the way you're treating your body. That needs reforming. So this card is a master card. It's the dragon. It's one of the mastery high vibrational cards in the deck. And it's talking about your physical body, your physical life, and changing and reforming it. So you have the power to reform yourself. If you're doing a bunch of bad habits, I think sometimes trying to accept that, okay, this is just how it is, I feel like sometimes that's a little bit of a cop-out. We're lacking in personal responsibility. So recognize what's not working, take your power back, and start reforming your physical body, your physical life, to match who you want to be and what feels good within you. If these habits that you're doing don't make you feel good, how can you accept them? So it's interesting, isn't it? Well, it's interesting to me, but I'm here talking to myself, pretty much. So, yeah, be like the dragon. Step into your power and think about how you can now start reforming your life and yourself. I trust that makes sense, Elle. Thanks so much, and sending you lots of love. Namaste. Okay, I'm just going to have a drink of water. I'm now connecting with Tina Feather Souilliard. So Tina, nice deep breath for me. Here is your card. It's card 1, Enchantment. So this is lightening up, fun, playful energy, nature, that sort of thing. So let's tune in and see. Okay, I see that you're walking on a bridge. I'm seeing the bridge from a distance. So the bridge shape feels important. Not that it will really matter, but it's really drawing my attention. So you're walking along the top of this bridge like this. And from my angle looking up at this bridge, I guess from like down at the river or something, it's got a thin part or a narrow part here in the center, and then the bridge part goes at the top, but the sides come down. So it kind of comes in this shape at the base, flat at the top. And I see you, this little figure, walking along the bridge to the other side, but it's like you've only just started walking. So the bridge to me is a place in between things. So it's a place in between that place and that place and the bridge. So the bridge bridges two things together. So this kind of makes me feel like you might be starting a change in your life, that you've started to walk across this bridge of change to go to a new landscape, a new phase of your life, a new space in your life, a new place within you. And also I feel there's something here about bridging the gap, that there's something that feels to be gapped in your life. There feels to be a separation of some sort, or a big divide. You know, sometimes we can be living with someone and just feel so much distance. And there's a distance here. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily with someone you live with, but I'm just highlighting that person could be someone in arm's reach, but you're not really gelling at the moment, so there's a distance. So there's a distance or a gap that's taking place in your life, and I feel that you're working really hard to bridge this gap and to bring these lands together, to bring these people together, to bring these situations together that feel divided. In some ways, I feel like you're the peacemaker, trying to bridge things together, trying to make amends. I feel like you can only walk to the middle, though, that there's someone else that needs to take responsibility too. That it's not all about you. It's not something you're totally responsible for as far as other people involved. So I see there's someone else that needs to walk the bridge, and you need to meet in the middle. So just make sure whatever you're bridging, whatever you're mending, whatever you're trying to be the peacemaker with, make sure you're doing it in a healthy way. And, you know, there's only so much that we're responsible for. We have to let other people be responsible for their role so they can meet us in the middle. So if you're trying to bridge that gap, that divide, claim your power, take your part, do your best. But you can't encroach on the other person's side of the bridge. They have to meet you in the middle. So recognize that it's a two-way street. Do your best. You're going to have to let the other person do their best too. Will it meet you in the middle? That person may not. That thing may not meet you in the middle. It may not be something that's going to... it may not be something that's going to bridge. But you just have to see how as you go. Let's grab an animal card, Tina, and see where that fits in. And we'll go here. We've got the bee. Okay, this is, the bee says taking a short break. And there's that feeling again of beelining. So just make sure you're focused on what you're responsible for on your walk across the bridge. And just do your work. Do your work. If this situation is meant to resolve or come together, then the other person will do their work too. So just focus on doing your work. Take a short break if you need to get perspective. So I'll leave that with you, Tina. I trust that makes sense, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, next is Marguerite Pepper Brady. I'm connecting with you now. So Marguerite, take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you today. So we have this. It's card 10 called Mind Thoughts. So this talks about clearing through the mind. If your mind has become a bit heavy or murky or mucky lately. Let's tune in, Marguerite, and see what's going on energetically for you. Okay, I see the bellows, I'm pretty sure they're called. The old bellows that used to be used to keep the fire, or get the fire started, the open fires. And I see these big bellows. And these bellows are feeding your mind. So there's a lot of air and there's a lot of wind and there's something that's going on. There's something that's going on that's feeding your thoughts, feeding your fear, feeding your worry and your stress. And these bellows are just adding to the mayhem that I'm feeling. I'm just feeling on what these bellows are representing. I feel a set of hands here moving the bellows. Are they your own hands? I got this feeling that they are, and that you might be, without realizing it, fueling your own mental chaos. So there might be some habits that you've gotten into with your thinking and how you speak to yourself and how you speak to others, perhaps, how you communicate, that is feeding and fueling and keeping those negative thoughts active. So let's get rid of these bellows. That will be a great start. It's a bit like continually putting yourself in harm's way. So there's something here about you feeding and fueling yourself and your mind thoughts more than you realize. So be careful that your own fear or your own doubt or your own insecurities and own issues aren't fueling things and just making things more bloated and bigger and chaotic than they need to be, especially mentally. So you might see this playing out in your life, but I feel like there's a very strong mental origin here. So let's get the bellows out. Let's get these arms away and bring them in here. Actually, we want to bring them into your heart. And just take some deep breaths and let yourself settle into your body and into your heart and how you feel. And as you settle in, it's like the energy, and as we take the bellows away, it's like all that activity of your mind starts kind of settling down into your heart. Now, it doesn't mean you're bringing your fear and your worry into your body. This is just energy. So if the energy's here, it's going to be feeding your mind thoughts. If your energy's here, it's going to be helping you grow and feel better in your heart. So don't think of it as bringing the worry and the fear down. We're thinking of it as just energy. And if it's not feeding your thoughts, we're bringing the energy down to fill your heart with love and energy and life force. And as we do that, more of it kind of scoops down. It's almost like you had before hair that was crazy unruly, like you've been out in a storm or something in the rain, and it was just like all wild, your hair, and it's like your hair is now kind of just coming in and kind of curling around into your heart. So you get this strong hair feeling and vision here. And it's all just starting to settle. Your mind's starting to settle into your heart. Don't forget to connect with the power of your heart rather than feeding and fueling your thoughts and the chaos up here. more than you realize. So bring the energy into your heart, the confidence, the support that you can have for yourself. Replace the negative thoughts that you're having, the self-criticism, with something supportive. Let's grab an animal card, Marguerite, and see what that wants to add here. So we have this. It's shelter, card 51. It says seek safe shelter. So we can think of this as area of the home, your safety, your security, your protection, your home. And you've been encouraged to look at the support that is there for you in the home, or what's going on for you in the home, that you can maybe shift or change a little bit for it to become or be more supportive for you. So there's something important about this, connecting with your home. But think about your safe place. And really, in truth, the safe place for all of us is in our heart. And then our outer home or room are like an outer representation of the safety and the love that we can feel within our own inner home, if you like, or our inner temple. So there's something important about your shelter, your home, your survival, your safety, your protection, and letting the energy feels like it's kind of getting nice and strong and anchoring at the moment. So just let yourself connect in your own way. Thank you. I trust that makes sense, Marguerite, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, so now I'm connecting with who? Jane Larson. Jane, you're next. You're now. Let's take a nice deep breath for me, please. And we'll see what comes up for you. So we'll go with this card here. It's Reflections, card 47. This talks about things coming together. So things may be coming together better than you realise right now. Let's tune in, Jane, and see what's coming up here. Okay, I see walls around you, and I feel like it might be really helpful for you to let your walls down at the moment, especially the wall that you have on the right side. So the wall on the right side feels like it's a part of you that's blocking your future, or blocking the potential for things to work out or pan out or become better than you think or better than you realise. So let your walls down, let your guard down, and trust that things are going to unfold as they need to. Have patience with the coming together. Things won't come together overnight. But letting your walls down, your own resistances, being on guard, your insecurities, letting these things down or go, that will help things come together, I feel, a little bit more fluently and efficiently. So be careful you're not holding yourself back, especially in regards to what wants to come up for your future. There's great potential coming in, and I see this wave, or it's more like a comet moving energy of golden light that's coming in from the right side and into your space. And it can only come in if the walls are down. So this gold comet-like energy feels like something new that's wanting to come in. It has a lot of force and a lot of really strong energy. It's wanting to come into your life. So let your guard down, let your walls down so this energy can come in. It's just like, you know, if you were defending a castle and you had the highest castle walls you could imagine or build, that you could possibly build to keep the enemy out. What if one day a friend tried to get in, but the walls were way too high, and this person maybe was a long-lost parent or a potential partner, someone that could potentially be of great relevance to you in your life, but you also block them out too. So be careful that you're not holding up insecure walls or insecure boundaries that are blocking the good from coming in. Keep your boundaries healthy. It's good to have clear, healthy boundaries, but you want to still welcome the good things and the good people and the good moments that can enhance you in your life. So my big message to you is let your guard, let your walls down. Let's grab an animal card, Jane, just to add to that. See what that wants to add. And we'll grab this card here. It's the dolphin. It says it's a time to celebrate. So celebrate what is working for you in your life, and especially celebrate you breaking down those walls. And I see you with hammer and sledgehammer and just like pounding down, knocking these walls down, like a bit like the, you know, the breaking down of the Berlin Wall. It kind of feels like these walls have been up for a while. They're not serving any purpose now that's of good purpose. So find the tools that you need. Find your willingness to break those walls down and take steps to do that, because it certainly will be a time to celebrate. So I trust that makes sense, Jane. And thank you so much for your support and allowing me to connect with you today. Namaste. Okay, the next person on my list is Natalie Papp. So Natalie, take a nice deep breath and we'll see what's loudest in your vibration today. So we'll go with this card here. It's the Lotus Heart Opening. This tells me that you're going through a time of heart healing. Healing in your heart and letting your heart mend old love wounds that have been maybe holding you back or limiting you for a little while. But you're letting your heart open just a little bit more and heal. So there's something here about your heart, like a flower starting to blossom. Let's tune in, Nat, and see what is loudest in your vibration. I see you putting your shovels, your swords, your tools down. I feel like you're putting your tools down, your sword down, and putting them up against a wall or up against a fence. And just kind of, I see you opening up and almost surrendering to the moment and letting yourself move forward. So the swords feel like battle, defending yourself, the struggle that you've been going through. And you surrendering those and almost putting them down, surrendering yourself and letting yourself move forward and trying a different approach. Perhaps for a while you were trying to battle your way through a situation or something because you thought that was the way you had to handle it. Well, I kind of feel that the best approach right now is to let your swords and your shovel and your things that you've been trying to juggle and hold, to let them go and just surrender and walk forward. Surrendering to the situation feels like it drops a ton of burden and weight off your back, or the whole back of your body, like you've got a cloak that's hooked up here, like a hood that's hanging here at the top of your head and over your shoulders and down over your back. It feels like a heavy coat that you're dropping as you surrender and move forward. And I feel like you're kind of surrendering to the moment and giving yourself permission to move forward and stop the fight, stop the battle. This may be quite a literal fight or a battle that you've been going through, a disagreement or misunderstanding. But it's also most likely comes back to your own inner battles too. Let's grab an animal card to see what that wants to add here, Nat. And we'll go with this one here. It's the elephant. This talks about family. It says family commitments, but it's very much a family orientated card. So I feel like strength in the family, surrendering in the family, letting the guard down, the battle equipment down in the family will be helpful. And recognizing that you are strong and steady, a strong and steady member of the family. So you may want to call on the elephant energy, I feel, to help increase your strength your strength of being vulnerable and your strength of surrendering so your heart can heal. So you can let your heart open and heal and receive the love that's available, the support that's coming in, especially in the family. So that's the elephant. I trust that makes sense, Nat. Thanks so much for your support, and namaste. Okay, next I'm connecting with Martha Samuels. So welcome, Martha. Let's see which card comes up for you and what we need to talk about today. I trust everyone's feeling good who may be connecting to the replay because I'm not doing this live. And Martha, look at this. You've got the abundance card, card 39, and it says overflowing abundance and letting abundance in. So what is abundance? To me, abundance represents or can represent gifts, good health, opportunities, support, good flow, finances in good flow, sales, specials, discounts can all be part of abundance. Basically, being in good flow brings forward abundance. So let's tune in, Martha, and see how your energy's doing. Okay, this is really strange, but I'm seeing one of those things that you put over food to stop the flies coming in. And I see that over you. And then at the top, there's this bright red large bow. And it kind of feels like the bow, this is equivalent to the bow being around your neck. But it's a big, big red bow. So this covering for the food, I feel like is your protection to stop the flies and the moths and the insects and the things and the people that drain or attack you from coming in. So I feel this is a great representation of your own protection and your own boundaries, healthy boundaries that you've set up for yourself. So this red bow feels like a present. It feels like gifting yourself with the gift of truth. Feels important here with this bow wrapped around your throat, your center for truth, and it being bright red talks about your physicality, so your physical life. So giving yourself the gift of truth in your physical world. So think about the areas of your life, the relationships that you're experiencing, the different relationships with different people, and where there might be a bit of a need to explore truth or communication issues that may be playing out. Are you seeing the truth in all of these situations? Is there something that's a little bit rocky right now? If there is, what's the gift of truth that you can find in that situation to help yourself feel stronger and clearer about the direction you want to take that situation or that relationship? So keep your protection up. I want to keep that covering on you because I feel all these flies, they can't get to the food, they can't get to you while that's there. So it feels like a great protection from unwanted energy. That you probably have really clear boundaries right now, and that's a good thing. So also think about keeping yourself open to receiving the good things and the abundance that does want to come into your life as well. So don't close everything off or be paranoid about people's motives or agendas. But I feel whatever you're doing for your protection feels like it's working a treat. I see all these, what we call in Australia, blowflies, which are big, docile flies with a really deep buzz. They just kind of buzz and buzz and buzz around. I see all these kind of just knocking themselves out as they hit your covering and then fall to the ground. So the card, the animal card that wants to come up with this is the Nautilus. The Nautilus says to break negative patterns. So consider breaking negative patterns that you've gotten into. old habits or patterns that are holding you back a little bit more than you realise. And look at the truth in these things. Allow yourself to break these negative patterns and avoid going back to them. So avoid going back to those negative situations or the relationship that is not in alignment with your truth. Because the best gift that you could give yourself at the moment is aligning yourself up with your truth in your life. Your truth and my truth are going to be different things. So we can also expand on that and say your values, your ethics will also be what weighs up whether something is right for you or not. And then either step back or proceed. But make sure that you give yourself that gift of truth and weighing things up against your ethics and values. So thanks, Martha. I'll leave that with you. I trust it resonates, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, a few more to connect with. So we're getting there. Next is Nicole Wiggins. So Nicole, your time now. Take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you today. Okay, we have this. It's the enchantment card again. So this is about joy, upliftment, playfulness, rising up, nature, that sort of thing. Okay, Nicole, nice deep breath for me. Let's see what we need to talk about. Okay, I'm really being drawn to your solar plexus chakra, which is just above your navel. And it feels spread out somehow, like having butter on a knife and spreading it across a piece of toast. And that's sort of what I'm seeing here with your solar plexus chakra, that there's something that's being spread out. So it feels a little bit like it's being spread thin. And you might find that lately with your energy levels, that maybe you're doing a lot of things at once, and maybe you're spreading yourself too thin in different areas of your life, and you're not replenishing yourself very quickly or easily. Or when you do, it's like allocated again. So it feels like your energy that's coming in, that you're being recharged with, is quickly being allocated to things in your life. So you may be inspired, if you have time and if it resonates with you, to make some time to stop and really fully recharge, rather than recharging a little bit and then allocating that recharge, and then recharging a little bit and allocating that. It's a bit like if your mobile phone was a quarter charge and you use it, make a phone call, and then it's flat. So then you charge it a quarter, and then you make a phone call and it's flat. There's sort of that feeling. Rather, I feel like it might help if you stop, recharge fully, and then let that recharge kind of gradually run out, rather than this stopping, starting, this pushing and pulling a little bit. So a key to this might be to make some time to play and have some fun and do something playful and energetic and uplifting for you. Spend some time in nature perhaps, or with children, or with things that bring you joy. And it may be required for a day perhaps, where you can just really soak it up and feel yourself charge up like a phone battery, getting fully charged rather than very partially charged. So that's what I'm feeling with your energy, Nicole. Let's grab a animal card to support that. And we'll go with this one here. It's the owls. The owls. And it says the power of observation. So the owls are bringing an observation and observing energy in as well. And that might be a great way for you to conserve or build or recharge your energy levels, is through conservation. Conserving your energy and observing what's going on around you, rather than doing and being active. So just see how you feel. But there's this kind of a fullness to these guys here as they sit there, and just encourage you to just observe. It's a bit like plugging your phone into the charger and just letting it sit there, rather than functioning and doing things with it. So you might be more inspired to just rest, go a bit slowly and observe, or observe people having fun. if that brings your heart and joy. So I trust that makes sense, Nicole, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, next on my list is Elaine Thelen. That's you, Elaine. Take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you. Okay, we'll go with this card. It's self-searching. So this is about reminding yourself to look within. Be careful you're not searching or seeking or questing in desperation whatever it is that you're looking for. So look inside, turn your attention inward. Okay, Elaine, let's tune in and see what we need to talk about here. Okay, so this might sound a bit strange. I'm actually seeing crystals growing out of your hips. They look like clear quartz points, like a little cluster of half a dozen growing out of each hip. But it's actually low on your hip, so it's actually probably more the top of your thigh, lower hip. Both sides have crystals growing out of them energetically. So this is actually really powerful. I feel like you're in a powerful position right now to move forward in your life, to move out of the past and proceed with something and move forward. That these crystals are supporting you and amplifying your energy to move forward. So as you're moving forward, just keep checking in with your own compass, your inner compass, your heart, to make sure that you're going in the direction that continues to feel right, rather than having a, if you're racing and you're racing for the finish line and your aim and your focus is on the finish line and to get there as quick as you can, there's a feeling of avoiding that sort of thinking. So be careful you're not aiming and focusing so much on the finishing line that you're missing the journey to it. So draw your energy back from the finish line or from the result or the event or whatever it is that you're kind of overshooting your attention to. Bring your energy into the now and just let your heart's compass take you to where you're going, that finish line or that event, rather than letting that call you and entice you. Stand in your power and feel your way to where you're going. Feels to be more empowering, but this is very powerful steps that you're taking. And I see you moving in big, quite big strides. And these crystals, this crystal energy that's supporting your hip movement, your movement in your life, is helping you make bigger, stronger steps. Just keep your attention on your compass and going forward from here, rather than being drawn into where you're going. Now let's grab an animal card to support this. We'll go with this card. It's the kangaroo, and the kangaroo says leap over the obstacle. Well, I don't feel that there's an obstacle here. I just feel like this is talking about the leaps that I was just talking about, because the kangaroo leaps, of course, from its hips or from its legs there, from its joints. And I think this is just perfect in clarifying or re-clarifying or strengthening what I was just talking about. So keep moving in leaps and bounds like the kangaroo, because you're going where you need to be and you're going forward. I feel like you're making great progress at the moment, Elaine. So I trust that makes sense, and thanks so much for your support. Namaste. Okay. Next, I'm connecting with Tami Dunn. So welcome, Tami, and take a nice deep breath. We'll see what comes up for you today. So Tami, including Tami, means I've got 7 people left to connect with, including Tami. So Tami, your connection now. And we have this, self-searching. So you might find that something I shared with Elaine also is relevant for you. So just remember to not look outside yourself too much. Keep your attention coming from inside. Look within. If you're, you know, it's like that example I share about if we are noticing that we're not getting support from people in our life and we're looking for it externally. And I find that a great reminder to me that I need to turn my focus inward and look at how I can be my best supporter rather than putting expectations onto other people and waiting for them to support me externally and outside myself. So let's tune in, Tami, and see what is loudest in your vibration. So nice deep breath for me. Okay, so I'm seeing a dustpan and a broom, and you sweeping bits of dust and dirt off the ground, off the floor, and into your dustpan. So I feel like you're doing a lot of kind of refinement of fine cleaning up and clearing at this time. And I feel this is especially around your lower back, so around your spine, from your tailbone up to your lower back here. So through that stretch of spine feels like where you're using this dustpan and broom and really refining and clearing the old energy that you've had stored in here from early on in your life. So I'm drawn to about the years 1 to 5 that has been stored in this area, and really refining your maybe your early childhood issues or your early childhood stuff that you've been dealing with. So keep clearing that up and cleansing that out, and keep taking that responsibility for yourself, which is fantastic. Because this is helping free you up. It's helping untrap you. So I feel like there was a trapped feeling before, and you're actually opening the door and finding a way out. Let's grab an animal card to support this, Tami, and see what that wants to add. Okay, we have this. It's the Spirit Dragon, so this is what I would call the highest vibrating card in the deck, and it says heightened energy. So that tells me that the cleansing and the refinement of what you've been clearing out that I'm seeing in your lower back across your spine, that's actually helping heighten and lift your energy up. So you're basically letting go of the energetic weight that you've been carrying, the energetic burdens that you've been burdened by, perhaps in the background for most of your life, and you're letting yourself lift up and lift free. There's a connection here too, perhaps with loved ones in spirit who are coming in to support you at this time. So just remember that you're not alone, and just keep taking responsibility for how you feel. So I trust that makes sense, Tami. Thanks for your support, and namaste. Okay, now I'm connecting with Sherri Wendell. Sherri? Lovely to connect with you again. It's been a while. Looking forward to tuning in. So take a nice deep breath, and we'll see what comes up for you today. And we've got this card. It's the Tree of Life, card 55. This talks about enjoying the fruits of your labour, the hard work that you've put into things, enjoying the harvest of that now, of your efforts. And your harvests, in fact, are also part of a new beginning. So it's almost like a cycle of enjoying the harvest, but the harvest also creates a seed for the next journey to the harvest. So there's a sense here of enjoying the fruits of your labour, but there's something being born from that. There's something that's birthing for you right now. So let's tune in, Sherri, and see what comes up. I'm seeing a cobra with its neck flattened and wide, and it's here right in front of you. And I'm really being drawn to the throat area as it's kind of sitting here upright. So there might be something too in the cobra energy. Before I forget, maybe Google cobra or snake power animal to get a bit more information that might be relevant for you to look into. So the cobra sits here. He's upright, he's alert, he's attentive. He's almost on guard as well. But no, he's not on guard. He's trying to get your attention. There's something about the cobra or the snake that's trying to get your attention right now. And so when I think of the snake or the serpent or the cobra, I think of transformation. I also think about healing. And I've really been drawn to the throat chakra. So I feel like there's stuff that's shifting in your throat, perhaps around communication issues or helping you become more confident with your truth and clearer about your truth and expressing that as best as you can. And the snake comes now into the front of your body and aligns with your spine, with the head sitting right here at your throat. So there's this great sense of healing and transformation that's occurring now for you, Sherri. So allow it to unfold, allow yourself to shed that old snake skin, if you like, and embody and embed that energy of the snake into you, because it has strong medicine. Let's grab an animal card and see what that wants to add to what's being shared. And we'll go with this one. It's the fox. The fox says to find a way. So if you feel like you're a bit stuck with something or you feel inspired to do something, this card's reminding you or suggesting that you look for a way to make it happen. Be adaptable, but be resourceful as you find a way. Carve a path out for yourself. The way's not probably going to reveal itself to you. I feel like you're the one that needs to pave the way. You're the one that needs to find the path. So find the path, find the start of it, and allow it to take you where you're going. So a strong healing journey, a strong harvesting, enjoying the fruits of your labour, and also new beginnings arriving from the harvest. So thanks, Sherri. I trust that makes sense and resonates. Thanks for your support, and namaste. Okay, next on my list, after I have a drink, now I'm connecting with Angela Profke. Angela, nice deep breath, please. Let's see what comes up for you today. We'll go with this card here. It's new vibration. This talks also about new energy coming in, but this brings a sense of nurturing and grounding and caring for this new that's coming in. So it's a bit like having a seed, and now it's about you creating the best environment for that seed to germinate. So there's new energy coming into your space, Angela. Let's tune in and see what else we need to talk about. I see you at a T-junction. I'm getting the T picture of the symbol that I get for a T-junction. So I feel like you're approaching a T-junction in your life with things. You're going to have a decision that you need to make, or a decision that you're faced with. Should you go left or right? But I feel like you're approaching. So it's like you haven't quite got there yet. So there's no point assuming or expecting or anticipating which direction to take yet. I kind of feel more clarity is going to come to you as you get to the actual crossroad. So even though you might feel a bit uncertain or unstable or a little scattered because there's change in the air, just keep going gently forward. Keep moving forward until you actually get to the crossroads. When you get to crunch time, that's when you're going to be best to make your decision. Because at the moment, the T part, the top part of the T, feels a little bit fuzzy. So that tells me that the path hasn't really been set yet, that you're still approaching, and as you approach, it's going to become clearer, and then you'll know which way to take, which path to go. And in fact, when you get there, you'll probably find there's no choice at all. So it's just like as you're approaching, there's a choice, Don't know if that makes sense, but I feel as it gets clearer, one path's going to just fizzle away and the other path's just going to be like a bend in the road. So be careful you're not anticipating or getting too far ahead of yourself. Just keep yourself present in your body in the moment. Know and feel that the new is coming in, because I'm sure you can feel it. And just take one step at a time. Let the path find itself. Let your future kind of settle into or anchor into position. And then you can just keep going forward. But I'd be very surprised if you ended up having to make a decision, because I feel like it's just going to pan out better than what you think right now. Let's get an animal card to support that, and we'll go with this. It's the orca whale, and the orca says living your purpose. So this very much ties up a purpose feeling here, and a sense of finding, feeling, experiencing more purpose in your life. This is not a purpose that you're searching for, but a purpose that you can find every day that you wake up and every day that you go to sleep, making the most out of your day. Bringing purpose to your life is what this card's about. So finding your purpose, that will probably help you make the steps that you need to make or take forward. I trust that makes sense, Angela. Thanks so much for your support, and namaste to you. We have 4 more people to connect with. So now I'm connecting with Gayle McCoy. So welcome, Gayle. Take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you today. Okay, let's go with this. It's sacred love. And this talks about increasing your ability to love yourself. Reconnecting with you. So finding self-love, self-acceptance, and strengthening that. Okay, Gayle, let me just get into my new position and we'll see what is loudest in your vibration. Okay, right in front of you I see a pillar. Like a pillar that's a pillar at the entrance of a grand old building with 2 pillars on the side, but it doesn't look like that. Actually, it's more like a plinth, because it's pillar shaped, but I can see the top and it's not high like a pillar. So it's actually more like a plinth. It's like a stand, but very Greek feeling and quite old feeling. So it's got like a flat top with like curly bits here, and it's all scooped out around the sort of post part. So this is a plinth, something for you to put something on. I see you putting your heart on this plinth. I see you taking your heart, your velvety, red, beautiful heart, and putting it on this plinth. I feel like it might be worth thinking about how you can put your heart out there a little bit more in the world. And to come out just a little bit more of your shell, to let your heart be seen, to maybe avoid keeping your heart closed off. To let love in, you may need to let your heart be free, let your heart out to let love in. So there's a feeling here of putting your heart out into the world, out on display. And that's okay. There are going to be people that won't like your heart. They're going to laugh at it. They're going to criticize it. There are going to be people that don't resonate with you, and it's okay. We all have people we don't gel with. But the thing is, when you put your heart out on display, you're doing so from a place of accepting who you are, and not giving 2 hoots about what other people think. That this is not for other people. You're not putting your heart out there just to be attacked or to be noticed as someone beautiful and powerful and almighty. You're putting it out there because you want to experience more in your life. You want to feel more love, and you want to feel more depth in your heart. And I feel like that's the step for you to take or consider taking. Let's grab an animal card to go with that, Gayle. and see what that wants to add. Oopsie. Okay, we'll grab this card. Oh, we've got the Fire Dragon. So that's a mastery card, talking especially about the fire element and the power of the Fire Dragon. So this it says here, a powerful time of change. And I'm really drawn to the passion that the fire element brings, and that I've been drawn to that velvety red, lush, rich, beautiful beating heart that I saw you put on this plinth, and the fire in that, the passion that you can call upon in your heart, and that you're being called to summon that now so that you can carry yourself into this time of changing how you feel about yourself. This feels to be like the next step. So I'm going to leave that with you, Gayle. I trust that makes sense, and thanks so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, next on my list is Suzie Nicolls. So Suzie, welcome. Let's see what comes up for you today. And we'll go with this card here. It's Mental Healing, card 19. This talks about chaos, but healing in your mind. So just be aware that your mind thoughts and what you're thinking and where you're giving your attention to is probably, I want to say, knocking you off balance at this time. So even though there's things that you might be dealing with in your life, I feel like your mental state is not supporting a healthy environment. If you can get your mental state healthier and clearer as best as you can, that will help create a healthier environment and a clearer environment. So in your life, in your relationships, in your work, in this sort of stuff. So it comes back to your mind. And your mind, I feel, clogged up with what feels to be like seaweed and slimy eels that keep slipping around the seaweed and hiding. And these eels feel like fear, your own doubts, your own issues that are very much stored in the mind. So it's like all this seaweed coming out of your hair and all these eels that peek their head out and then slink back, curling around the weeds, the seaweed in your mind. And it feels full. It feels so full and heavy, and I feel a bit sickly. So let's look at clearing your mind, because it's draining your energy, and I feel like it's very much influencing what's actually happening in your life and what you're seeing going on in your life. So we need to drain the water out of your mind. So the water element tells me that there's strong emotions that are also feeding this mind stuff. So you might have all the reasons in the world why you think a certain way, or why you have that, why you're doing something a certain way, or why you have that attitude towards something, or that belief, or that fear. You might be able to justify it completely. But I feel like that's the almost like you're in a fish tank, and the fish tank is full of water, and that's your mind, and it's also full of seaweed and eels. Slippery eels. So you've got some thoughts going on in there that are slippery and sly, and they sneak in and they sabotage parts of your life. So we need to drain the water out to begin with. So I'm seeing like this round glass fish tank around your head that's full of these water and seaweed and eels, and a little plug here. It's actually the little plug's in your ear on the right side. And I feel that this little plug is indicating that you really need to pay attention and be aware. Your self-awareness is coming through here too. And there's a little cork here that I just pop out, and all this water which is very toxic, and it's coming through your nasal passages, because I can feel it kind of passing through this filtration system in your sinuses, and all this water just spouting out your right ear. Now, as it's draining out, I feel like it's carrying away a lot of gunk that you've been stewing about in your mind, but very emotionally attached to as well. So it's clearing out now and draining all that liquid out. And as it's draining out, I see these eels flapping around in air now, panicking because their life, their environment is going. So you might have a bit of a panic if something looks like it's going to change, because your environment that you've become so used to, cat hair, your environment that you've become so used to is threatening to change. So you might feel a bit uncomfortable right now, but we need to get these eels out. And I just have some tongs or something, a tool, and I just pick these eels out one at a time with these tongs and drop them to the ground. They actually look now a bit more like leeches, and they drop out to the ground. There's about 8 of them. And as they drop out to the ground, they just flap around a bit, and then they just soak down into the earth, because they're just energy. So when it's energy here, it's manipulated into a thought or a fear or something. When it's energy that's not in that environment, it's just energy. So it turns back to love. Those eels are gone. And we cut out all of the seaweed, the weeds here, cut all that out too, and drop that out down to the earth, where it returns back to love as well. Now it looks like you've had like a big haircut and you've had all your hair shaved off and you've got this clear open slate. Now we just need to get rid of the fish tank, and we happily just tap at it, create a few cracks and let it break away, and take the big shards of glass, drop them to the earth and return those back to love, to create a clearer environment in your mind. So now that we've wiped the slate clean, it's going to be super important for you to become aware of, by listening to and becoming more aware of what you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're doing, and making sure that these are now starting to swing into a more supportive direction, more positive and supportive. Let's grab an animal card to go with this, Susie, and see what this wants to add. So nice big breath. Okay, we've got this. It's the monkey. The monkey says cooperate. And I feel this is about you cooperating with yourself, and that sometimes perhaps you had found that you were your worst enemy. And now it's time to drop that sort of battle, which is clear. We've just cleared a lot of that out, and start really looking at how you can cooperate with yourself. Because when you cooperate with yourself, you're going to find more people cooperate with you in your world and in your life. So the monkey wants you to be cooperative and adaptable. So allow yourself to change and mold and be flexible with, especially with your thoughts. I trust that makes sense, Susie. And sending you lots of love. Thanks for your support, and namaste. Okay, we've got 2 more people to connect with. So now I'm connecting with Chelsea Keith. That's you. Take a nice deep breath, and we'll see what we need to talk about with you today. Okay, we'll go this card. It's card 15, called Cycles of Change. This talks about change moving in quickly and disrupting things, and then you're left to deal with the aftermath. So you might be dealing with the aftermath now. So now it's about sorting the stuff out that was loose in your life, the stuff that you're dealing with that is being revealed from the storm that passed through, and dealing with the aftermath. I feel this sense that it's not recommended that you put the stuff that's been revealed from the storm, that you put it aside. It's been recommended that you deal with the stuff as soon as it's revealed, as soon as you can. So be careful of putting things into the too hard basket, putting things off, or handing them to someone else to do. Although it's good to delegate, there's a feeling here that there are some things that you have to do yourself. So it's recommended that you really avoid putting things aside and focus on getting this stuff done. So if you had a ton of things outside in your yard and you were away at work one day and a storm came through unexpected, a little tornado or something, and it loosened and threw about all this stuff outside, and you had chairs upside down and things revealed that you didn't even know you had, trees upturned, you're being encouraged to deal with this, deal with it as you go. Don't put it off. So it's important. It's been shuffled and it's been stirred up and it's been revealed for a reason. And so when you have the energy and when you have the time to tend to these things, please tend to them. Don't delay and don't put them off. But it's also not urgent. It's just do it at your own pace, but don't avoid it, if that makes sense. Chelsea, let's grab an animal card to support and to add more information. And we'll go with this here. It's the sea dragon. So the sea dragon's reminding you to be gentle with yourself. So gently through this, dealing with this aftermath. But don't put things off. Even if it takes you 3 or 6 or 12 months to sort through everything, that's okay. You're not putting it off. But just be careful of your thoughts or an attitude of avoiding something or delaying something. Just recognize when you do that and look at, okay, what's my reasoning for that? Why am I delaying this? What am I avoiding? That's what you don't want to be doing, is the feeling here. Don't avoid. Just gently travel through at your own pace. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Just don't avoid it. I trust that makes sense. So thanks, Chelsea. I trust that resonates, and thanks so much for your support. Sending you loads of love. Namaste. Okay, lucky last but not least, it's the beautiful Narelle Grant. So Narelle, take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you today. Okay, we'll go with this for you. It's the meditation card, and this reminds you to keep things simple and stay focused. So let's tune in, Narelle, and see what comes up for you and what's loudest in your vibration. Okay, I'm seeing a large book in front of you that's partly opened, and you're being guided to open it all the way. This book feels like it's full of knowledge, information. The script for your next 6 months is in this book. And I feel like you've got to peek somehow. You've got to peek in, because the book's open a little bit, but you can open it fully now. It's time to open it fully. So what does this mean? How does this translate to your actual life? Is a good question. So that's what I'm feeling on. So how does this, what's the relevance of this in your life? And now I'm seeing a different picture, but this might most likely be a different angle of what I've seen and talked about just then. I'm seeing this small boat, but it's more like a small ship. It's like a little, is it a toy? It looks a bit like a toy ship, but it's a large ship. But just to give you an idea, it's kind of squished in, but a ship. And it's just slowly sailing along, but it's going around a really sharp turn at the moment. And I feel that this now, I'm being drawn back to opening up this book. Opening up yourself and letting yourself turn the corner. Open the book. Open the new chapter of your life. To sail on the new seas. To read and open the new book. So even though you've peeked inside this book, I feel like it's brand new. So it doesn't feel like a new phase or a new chapter. I feel like there's something brand new that you're starting to go into or starting to turn a corner of and go into in your life. And it feels substantial. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something quite relevant in your life, like a change in home, a change in work, a shift through relationships, or a change in your family dynamics. There's something I feel that's quite relevant and connected here with your actual life. So it feels like you're at the beginning phases of this turnaround and this opening of this brand new book. So there's new wisdoms that you can tap into. New potentials and new parts of yourself are going to be called or summoned forward that you haven't connected with before. So you're going to realize how strong, and I want to say with a big emphasis, how talented you are. Because I feel you've got some hidden talents that are about to be revealed. So there's whatever this new thing is that you're going into, that you're preparing for, you may not know exactly what it is yet, but it will be revealed over the next couple of weeks probably, or the next month or so. As that's revealed and as you settle into the changes, you might find that there's opportunities for you to do things or participate in things that you might not usually do. And I really want to encourage you to go for it, because you're going to find some hidden talents that you didn't know you had. And these are going to really enrich you and your life. Let's grab an animal card to go with that, Narelle. I'm going to turn this heater off because it actually now feels like it's drying out my throat. With all this talking, yap, yap, yap is what I'm doing. No, I hope it's not yapping. I trust that it's been helpful anyway. But let's grab an animal card. And we've got the bee. So the bee wants you to be busy getting to your new environment, opening this new book in your life. To not put it off. To be like the bee. Hone in, stay focused on what you want to do. Even if you don't know where you're going. Just trust in the scent that you're following. Trust in that sweet nectar that you're smelling, that scent in the air that's calling you to that flower to grab that pollen. So you've got some hidden talents, and I can feel they're going to be really exciting to develop, Narelle. But it might be a few months before that's revealed. But I feel like that's a big part of why you're opening this new chapter or this new book in your life. I trust that makes sense, and thanks so much for your support. Namaste. So thank you. That ties up our healing event. Thanks for joining me. If you made it this far, then congratulations. If you skipped ahead, then hello. So thanks so much. If you want to be part of next month's healing ceremonies, then please have a look on my Patreon page. The link is down in the video comments below. Patreon. Excuse me, I'm going a bit delirious now. Patreon.com/Temple of Balance. And I'll let you know what our healing events will be and when they will be early in November. So if you're inspired to continue supporting my work and being on my healing list, then I look forward to connecting with you again next month. If you're new and you'd like to participate, you're very, very welcome. So you're welcome. Anyone's welcome if you'd like to become a part of it. So thank you, and sending you lots of love from my heart to yours. Thank you so much for connecting today. And my name's Leanne Peters. I'll connect with you again real soon. So thank you, and namaste.